is 1990, and Sega, who just a year from this time released their 16-bit home console in North America, was aiming to take arcades by storm once again with their new piece of hardware, the System 32. The 32 in Sega's new arcade technology derived from the CPU, which carried 32-bit instructions. Like its predecessor, System 32 would focus on sprite-based games, but the new hardware would improve on features like sprite scaling, sprite rotation, and system sound. What really makes System 32 an interesting topic of discussion is the lack of home-ported titles which never made their way to their follow-up console, the Sega Saturn and Dreamcast, which was most likely due to the growing popularity of 3D accelerated graphics. Because of this, for a long time, emulation was the only way to get hands-on with these tantalizing titles of the past. So what's the best way to play System 32 games in this day and age? Unlike a few years ago, there's definitely more options. MAME, which for some time has been the best way to play System 32 games, Final Burn Neo, which started to support 32 games back in 2021, Arcade 1-Up, which has some of the games available on their arcade home cabinets, and Sega's Astro Mini, which has a few System 32 games as a part of their collection. While I haven't been able to confirm the accuracy of the 1-Up and Astro Mini devices, the MAME and the Final Burn Neo do have a few graphical discrepancies. With that being said, trying to pinpoint those subtle anomalies would mean you have spent a great deal of time with the games running on the specialized hardware, and I would say for most of us, the quarters just didn't stretch that long. So what are some of the standout titles that were created on this arcade hardware? Well, that certainly relies on your own tastes, but I have 4 that I feel really showcase the System 32's abilities. A follow-up to the popular Outrun arcade, Outrunner certainly outdid its predecessor in many ways. It would be one thing to say that the graphics were a major improvement, but the addition of more cars and song selections certainly makes this game a standout title for the System 32 hardware. It may be fair to say Insomniac Games by far created the best video game portraying the amazing web crawler, but I would be doing a disservice by excluding some of the great titles featuring Spider-Man that came before it. Spider-Man the Arcade is one such game, and like most arcade games during this time period, it felt so far ahead of its time. The developers of this game took sprite scaling to a new level with a mixture of beat 'em up and action platforming, resulting in a flawless execution of gameplay that has never been duplicated since. Golden Axe: The Revenge of Death Adder is yet another amazing sequel that managed to bypass its predecessor in every area of development. Whether it was the doubling of playable characters, new environment interactions, or the overwhelming visual improvements this title showcased, this arcade title was just destined to outdo the first title any way possible you could have ever imagined it would. I had to add this one to the list for what I feel are some interesting reasons. Slipstream, unlike the other titles in this list, was developed by Capcom and was the only third-party game developed on the hardware. What is even more intriguing about this title is the fact that it is one of the few racing titles that Capcom has developed and it looks, and more importantly, controls like a champ. Because of its late arrival, not too many got the chance of experiencing this title firsthand, so it's a good thing emulation came to the rescue in preserving it for more to enjoy. It is really unfortunate this was Sega's final sprite-based arcade hardware, and you have to wonder what would have come next if they hadn't steered the ship into a different direction. And that direction is another story for another time. For now, this is The Core, your resident entertainment techie, signing out.